Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Welcome to today's video. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon you all. Have you ever felt drained, unmotivated, or stressed after spending time with certain people? Today, we're talking about the types of people who may be harming your mental, emotional, and even spiritual well-being. Are they in your circle? Let's find out. Relationships are an integral part of human life, but not all relationships are beneficial. Some may nourish our soul and strengthen our connection with Allah, while others may drain our energy, leading us away from the path of righteousness. Have you ever felt a sense of unease or heaviness after spending time with certain individuals? If so, it's worth reflecting on whether these people are helping or harming you on your journey in this dunya and for the akhirah. Life is full of challenges, and the people around us significantly influence how we respond to those challenges. Friends, family, and acquaintances shape our thoughts, actions, and even our perception of ourselves. While good companions inspire us to grow and become better individuals, toxic relationships can hinder our progress and drag us into negativity. This isn't just about emotional well-being. It's about safeguarding our deen, our faith, and our values. Islam places a profound emphasis on the importance of choosing good company. As the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, wisely said, "The example of a good companion and a bad one is that of a perfume seller and a blacksmith. The perfume seller may give you a fragrance, or you may buy it from him, but the blacksmith will burn your clothes or leave you with a foul smell." Every relationship has an impact, whether subtle or significant. Sometimes we underestimate the influence of those we spend time with, assuming that we can remain unaffected by their negativity or harmful habits. However, even the strongest of believers can be influenced over time. A toxic environment, especially one filled with negativity, gossip, or sin, can seep into our hearts without us even realizing it. It's like being in a polluted space. No matter how much you try to avoid breathing it in, the contamination is unavoidable if you stay there for too long. Imagine your heart as a delicate plant. Just as a plant requires clean water, sunlight, and good soil to grow, our hearts need positive influences, righteous companionship, and the light of faith to flourish. If you water the plant with poison or deprive it of light, it will wither and die. Similarly, if we surround ourselves with people who are dishonest, overly critical, or spiritually negligent, our hearts begin to suffer. This suffering manifests in many ways: anxiety, stress, diminished self-esteem, or even a weakened connection with Allah. The people you allow into your life also play a crucial role in shaping your mindset. A friend who constantly speaks negatively can make you feel hopeless or cynical about life. On the other hand, someone who encourages gratitude, optimism, and reliance on Allah can elevate your mood and strengthen your iman. When we spend time with individuals who remind us of Allah, their presence itself becomes a form of ibadah, and their advice serves as a gentle push toward righteousness. Contrast this with people whose actions and words may steer us away from our faith. Sometimes the toxicity isn't apparent at first. People may appear kind or charming, but their true nature reveals itself over time. They may manipulate you, take advantage of your kindness, or slowly drain your emotional energy. One red flag is when someone belittles your faith or mocks your efforts to improve yourself. Such behavior is a clear sign that their company may be detrimental. As Muslims, we are encouraged to prioritize our relationship with Allah above all else. No companionship is worth jeopardizing our eternal success. Another sign of harmful relationships is when someone constantly engages in backbiting or gossip. Allah warns us in the Quran that backbiting is akin to eating the flesh of one's dead brother. Surah Al-Hujurat 49:12. Associating with people who indulge in such behavior not only harms our faith, but also puts us at risk of adopting similar habits. Remember, the company you keep reflects who you are. As the saying goes, tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. This is why it's so important to choose companions who embody qualities you aspire to have. It's also important to consider whether your relationships are bringing you closer to or pulling you away from Allah. True friends are those who remind you of your obligations as a Muslim and support your spiritual journey. They'll encourage you to pray, seek knowledge, and engage in acts of worship. However, if someone is indifferent or dismissive of your faith, it's a sign that their influence may not align with your values. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "A person is upon the religion of his close friend, so let one of you look at whom he befriends." Reflecting on your circle of friends doesn't mean judging others harshly or cutting people off without cause. Islam teaches us to approach matters with wisdom, compassion, and sincerity. But at the same time, we are accountable for the choices we make, including the company we keep. If someone's presence in your life is causing harm, be it spiritual, emotional, or mental, it's a sign that changes need to be made. Allah has blessed us with the ability to choose, and it's our responsibility to make decisions that align with His guidance. Think of your relationships as an investment. Just as you would invest in things that bring long-term benefit, you should invest your time and energy in relationships that add value to your life. A good friend is like a treasure, rare and precious. They'll stand by you in times of hardship, give you sincere advice, and make dua for you. In contrast, a toxic relationship is like carrying unnecessary baggage on a long journey. It weighs you down and makes the journey harder than it needs to be. This topic is especially important in today's world, where social interactions extend beyond physical meetings to online platforms. Sometimes, the negativity we experience comes from people we've never even met in person. Social media friendships can be just as impactful as real-life ones, for better or for worse. It's crucial to evaluate not only the people we see regularly, but also those we interact with virtually. Remember, the influence of words, whether spoken or typed, can have lasting effects on our hearts. It's worth noting that while we should distance ourselves from toxic relationships, we should also strive to be good friends to others. Self-reflection is key. Are we uplifting those around us, or are we contributing to their struggles? Islam teaches us to embody qualities of kindness, patience, and sincerity in all our interactions. Striving to be a source of positivity for others ensures that we are contributing to a virtuous cycle of good companionship. The decision to reevaluate relationships can be challenging. It requires courage, wisdom, and sometimes sacrifice. However, the rewards far outweigh the discomfort. By freeing ourselves from toxic influences, we create space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Most importantly, we position ourselves closer to Allah, surrounding ourselves with people who inspire us to seek His pleasure. The warning signs of toxic relationships. First, we must recognize that people who constantly criticize or belittle you can leave a lasting scar on your confidence and self-esteem. Criticism, when constructive, can help us grow, but when it becomes habitual and destructive, it chips away at the heart and soul. Such individuals are quick to point out flaws, rarely offer solutions, and never appreciate your efforts. They often carry a hidden intention to keep you feeling small, and this is dangerous for your mental and emotional well-being. Another type of toxic individual is the one who is always taking but never giving. They drain your energy, resources, and time, leaving you exhausted and unfulfilled. Their friendship feels one-sided, as they are there to receive but not to reciprocate. Islam teaches us the beauty of mutual benefit in relationships, where love and care are exchanged equally, but these people disregard this principle. Friends who pull you away from your values and beliefs are among the most harmful. Such people may subtly or blatantly encourage you to compromise your deen. Whether it's through urging you to engage in forbidden acts or mocking your commitment to Islamic principles, their influence can slowly erode your faith. As Muslims, we should be steadfast in our beliefs and avoid anyone who threatens our connection with Allah. Gossipers are another category of individuals who can wreak havoc in your life. When someone habitually talks ill of others, it's a red flag. Not only do they spread negativity, but there's a high chance they gossip about you when you're not around. Islam strictly prohibits backbiting, likening it to eating the flesh of your dead brother. Associating with such people risks pulling you into this sin and tarnishing your heart. Negativity and drama seem to follow some individuals like a shadow. These are the people who thrive on conflict and chaos, creating unnecessary problems wherever they go. Their toxic energy can seep into your life, leaving you constantly on edge or involved in disputes that have nothing to do with you. Islam encourages peace and resolution, but these individuals seem to shun these principles. Another concerning behavior is when someone envies your success and happiness. Rather than celebrating your achievements, they silently harbor resentment or worse, attempt to undermine you. Jealousy, or hasad, is a destructive force that Islam warns us against, as it can harm both the envier and the one envied. If someone exhibits this trait, it's best to keep your distance. Manipulative people also fall into this category. These individuals use tactics to control you, often for their gain. They may play on your emotions, twist your words, or exploit your kindness to fulfill their selfish desires. Recognizing manipulation can be challenging, but once identified, it's essential to protect yourself from falling victim to their schemes. Self-centeredness is another characteristic that marks toxic individuals. Such people make every conversation and situation about themselves. They lack empathy and rarely show genuine interest in your feelings, struggles, or successes. Over time, being around someone so self-absorbed can make you feel undervalued and unseen. People who exhibit consistent dishonesty are also harmful to keep close. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, and when someone lies repeatedly, it breaks that foundation. Their dishonesty not only causes confusion and pain, but can also lead you into situations where you're unsure of reality. Honesty is a cornerstone of Islamic character, and without it, relationships crumble. Another toxic trait is entitlement. These individuals believe they are owed something without putting in effort or showing gratitude. They demand favors, attention, and loyalty while offering nothing in return. Such a dynamic can leave you feeling unappreciated and taken for granted, which is far from the mutual respect Islam encourages in relationships. Some people exhibit a pattern of undermining your progress, whether through criticism or subtle sabotage. They may downplay your accomplishments, dismiss your goals, or discourage your aspirations. Such behavior stems from their insecurity, but it can greatly affect your confidence and motivation. Toxic people often lack accountability. They never own up to their mistakes or take responsibility for their actions. Instead, they deflect blame, play the victim, or project their faults onto others. Dealing with someone who refuses to accept accountability can be exhausting and demoralizing, as it leaves you bearing the brunt of their actions. There are also those who overstep boundaries, disregarding your comfort, values, or personal space. They impose their will on you, leaving you feeling violated or disrespected. Boundaries are essential in maintaining healthy relationships, and anyone who repeatedly crosses them shows a lack of care for your well-being. There are people who drain your faith and optimism. They focus on the negative, discourage acts of worship, and plant seeds of doubt in your heart. Being in their company can lead to spiritual stagnation or even regression. Surrounding yourself with positive, faith-oriented individuals is crucial for maintaining a strong relationship with Allah. Each of these behaviors is harmful in its way, and being aware of these traits can help you protect your heart, mind, and soul. How to recognize their impact on your life. When dealing with relationships, it's essential to understand their impact on your emotional and mental well-being. You might not always realize how certain people influence your thoughts, actions, and even your faith. A clear sign of a negative impact is the feeling of unease or anxiety after interacting with someone. If you find yourself dreading conversations or feeling drained after spending time with someone, it's a strong indication that their presence may not be beneficial for you. Consider the effect they have on your self-esteem. Do their words encourage or discourage you? A friend who constantly criticizes or belittles you, even under the guise of joking, can gradually erode your confidence. Over time, these interactions can make you question your worth and abilities, preventing you from achieving your potential or finding peace in your personal life. Additionally, ask yourself whether they are truly present for you when you need support. Relationships are meant to be reciprocal, but if you find yourself always giving while receiving little in return, this imbalance can become emotionally exhausting. Such people may only seek you out when they need something, leaving you feeling used or unimportant. Spiritual health is another critical factor. Reflect on whether these individuals help strengthen your connection with Allah or pull you away from your faith. If their actions, words, or habits conflict with your Islamic values, maintaining close ties with them may compromise your own spiritual growth. You might find yourself making excuses for their behavior or even compromising your principles to fit into their world. Negative influences can manifest subtly, sometimes disguised as humor or harmless fun. For example, someone who constantly pressures you to engage in activities that go against your beliefs, or who mocks your efforts to better yourself in Deen, is not contributing positively to your life. Instead, they create an environment where your faith and values are challenged unnecessarily. Pay attention to how they handle disagreements or conflicts. Are they willing to listen and resolve issues maturely, or do they resort to manipulation, anger, or blame shifting? People who cannot accept responsibility for their actions often create toxic dynamics, making you question yourself even when you've done nothing wrong. Another sign of a negative relationship is their tendency to gossip. Gossip not only goes against Islamic teachings, but also creates an atmosphere of distrust. If they frequently speak ill of others in your presence, it's worth considering whether they might do the same behind your back. Such behavior erodes trust and breeds negativity in any relationship. Sometimes their negative impact isn't about what they do, but what they fail to do. A lack of encouragement or support can be just as harmful as overtly toxic behavior. Friends who remain indifferent to your struggles or goals can make you feel isolated or undervalued, even if they aren't actively causing harm. Ask yourself if these individuals celebrate your successes or downplay your achievements. True friends are happy for your progress and encourage you to grow. On the other hand, those who respond with envy, sarcasm, or dismissiveness may be projecting their insecurities onto you, creating a toxic environment. Consider how they react when you try to establish boundaries. Do they respect your need for space or become defensive and accuse you of being distant? Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect, but toxic people often view boundaries as threats to their control or influence over you. It's also worth examining whether their presence encourages you to engage in unhealthy habits. Do they push you toward harmful behaviors, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual? Someone who fosters negativity in your life may not have your best interests at heart, even if they claim otherwise. Evaluate the balance of positivity and negativity in your interactions. Occasional disagreements are natural, but if most of your conversations revolve around complaints, drama, or conflict, this imbalance can weigh heavily on your mental health. You deserve relationships that bring joy and peace, not constant turmoil. Another subtle sign of a damaging relationship is when someone makes you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. They may frame your self-care as selfishness or accuse you of abandoning them, creating an emotional burden that discourages you from focusing on your well-being. Over time, these patterns can lead to feelings of helplessness or even depression. Toxic relationships have a way of making you feel trapped, as if leaving would cause more harm than staying. This fear often stems from their manipulation or emotional dependency, which can make it difficult to recognize that you deserve better. Remember that the people you surround yourself with influence not only your present, but also your future. If someone consistently drains your energy, undermines your values, or prevents you from growing into the best version of yourself, it may be time to reconsider their place in your life. Recognizing these impacts is the first step toward making healthier choices for your personal and spiritual journey. Practical steps to cut toxic people out. When you realize that someone's presence in your life is more harmful than beneficial, the first step is to acknowledge it internally. Often we hesitate because we fear confrontation or worry about hurting their feelings. However, it's important to remind yourself that maintaining relationships that negatively affect your well-being is neither beneficial to you nor to the other person. Acknowledge your right to prioritize your mental and spiritual health without guilt. The process of creating boundaries starts with small, intentional steps. You don't necessarily need to announce your decision right away. Gradually reduce the time you spend with the person by politely declining invitations or being less available for casual conversations. This approach helps in transitioning away without creating immediate tension or discomfort. As you distance yourself, you may feel tempted to revert to old habits, especially if the person reaches out or attempts to rekindle the relationship. This is where self-discipline becomes crucial. Remember the reasons why you decided to take this step in the first place and stay firm in your decision. You're not being selfish. You're protecting your emotional and spiritual well-being. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is just as important as cutting ties with harmful ones. Seek out individuals who inspire you, who encourage your growth, and who bring out the best in you. Being in the company of such people strengthens your resolve and makes the absence of toxic relationships feel less daunting. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized the importance of good company, comparing it to the pleasant scent of a perfume seller. While distancing yourself, try to remain respectful and avoid unnecessary conflict. If the person confronts you, explain your decision with kindness, focusing on your need for personal growth rather than pointing fingers. This approach minimizes hostility and preserves your dignity. Your goal is not to create enmity, but to establish a healthier environment for yourself. In some cases, toxic people may not respond well to your boundaries. They might guilt you, manipulate your emotions, or even spread negativity about you. Be prepared for such scenarios and remind yourself that their reaction is a reflection of their character, not yours. Seek strength in prayer and trust that Allah knows your intentions. Making dua is a powerful tool during this process. Ask Allah to guide you, to soften the hearts of those involved, and to grant you patience and wisdom. Remember that nothing is too difficult for Allah, and placing your trust in Him will give you the clarity and strength needed to navigate this challenging time. It's also essential to reflect on your own behavior throughout this process. Cutting ties with others is not an excuse to harbor bitterness or resentment. Instead, focus on purifying your heart and seeking forgiveness for any mistakes you may have made in the relationship. Forgiveness, even from a distance, can bring immense peace to your heart. As you begin to create a life free from negativity, use this opportunity to nurture your personal and spiritual development. Spend time engaging in activities that bring you closer to Allah, such as prayer, Quran recitation, and acts of kindness. Filling your life with positive energy makes it easier to let go of past burdens. Be mindful of your conversations with mutual friends or acquaintances. Avoid the temptation to gossip or speak ill of the person you've distanced yourself from. Remember, your goal is to rise above negativity, not contribute to it. Maintaining this discipline will protect your integrity and strengthen your relationship with Allah. You may also find that letting go of toxic relationships creates space for new, meaningful connections. Be open to meeting new people who share your values and vision for life. These relationships have the potential to enrich your life in ways you may not have imagined before. It's natural to feel moments of sadness or doubt after ending a relationship, even if it was toxic. During these times, turn to Allah for comfort and reassurance. Reflect on the wisdom of His plan and trust that He is guiding you towards what is best for your dunya and akhirah. Consider seeking advice from trusted mentors, family members, or scholars if you feel uncertain about how to handle a specific relationship. They can offer valuable insights and help you navigate the situation with wisdom and compassion. Surrounding yourself with such guidance strengthens your resolve and provides a sense of support. Finally, celebrate your progress and growth. Every step you take towards a healthier, more fulfilling life is a victory worth acknowledging. Focus on the blessings that have come from your decision and use them as motivation to continue striving for a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. Through all of this, remember that change takes time and patience. Cutting toxic people out of your life is not an instant process. It's a journey of self-awareness, discipline, and reliance on Allah. Trust in His guidance and keep moving forward with a heart full of hope and gratitude. Remember, relationships play a significant role in shaping who we are and how we live. When surrounded by the wrong kind of people, our mental, emotional, and spiritual growth can suffer. Toxic relationships drain our energy, distract us from our purpose, and often steer us away from the path of righteousness. Islam teaches us to prioritize companionship that inspires us towards good deeds and closer connection to Allah. By cutting out harmful influences, we create space for more positive, supportive relationships that align with our values. It's not always easy to distance yourself from someone, especially if you've shared meaningful moments together. However, letting go doesn't always mean conflict or hostility. It can be done with kindness and maturity, simply by limiting your interactions and focusing on healthier connections. The key is to remember your intention, improving your life, and staying true to your faith. Allah knows what is in your heart and your reasons for making this change. Trust that He will guide you through any difficulty. Surrounding yourself with uplifting and inspiring company is a blessing. Good friends are those who remind you of Allah when you forget, encourage you to do good deeds, and provide comfort during challenging times. They don't drag you down with negativity or lead you towards actions you'll regret. By prioritizing this kind of company, you'll find yourself feeling more peaceful and focused on your goals. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The best of companions in the sight of Allah is the one who is best to his companion." Tirmidhi. Seek companions who fulfill this description. At the same time, it's important to make dua for those you distance yourself from. Pray that Allah softens their hearts and guides them to better ways. This act of kindness will not only purify your intentions, but will also remind you that cutting someone off is not about arrogance or anger, but about self-preservation and spiritual growth. Islam teaches us to be compassionate even when we take tough decisions. Letting go is often an act of love, for them and for yourself. Ultimately, know that by making these changes, you're protecting your well-being and safeguarding your faith. Allah has given you the ability to discern what benefits you and what harms you, and it's an act of worship to act upon that wisdom. When you trust Allah and seek His guidance, He will bring better people into your life, those who support you in every good way. Stay steadfast, keep your heart open, and trust in the process. For Allah's plan is always the best. Jazakallahu khairan for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.